Oh man, I'm so oppressed. All these people down there in the comments being mean to me. Oh, you're oppressing me. Get real, man. The oppression cosplay needs to stop. From Amala Ekpunobi. What are you talking about, Amala? Do you not realize that you're oppressed? You're a black woman, of course you're oppressed. A black woman in America? Come on. You're just a self-hating black person. The f*** are people on, man? What the f*** are people on? Ozempic, most likely. And it's fucking with people's brains. Ozempic and Adderall, maybe at the same time.
I've been noticing a new trend recently, shall we call it oppression cosplay, where people pretend to be from humble means or impoverished backgrounds. They pretend to be oppressed.
Yeah, AOC. Man, I saw that. I saw Asmongold cover that. Asmongold covering Benny Johnson going to AOC's actual hometown. Not the Bronx, but 90 minutes outside of the Bronx, where all the rich people live. A place where they would probably just arrest me for how I look because I look like a vagrant. Same with Asmongold, he said that. But it's true.
All to get you to like and support them. They're kind of competing in the oppression Olympics, except they shouldn't even be there. They're like the—
Yeah, because they're all fucking rich celebrity type people. Like, fucking get real, man. I don't care if you came from humble beginnings. You're weird now. You're a celebrity. You're in the celebrity culture. Part of the government. Like, come on.
the trans athletes of the sport.
I think children's sports is next.
And today, we're gonna be calling them out because I'm not falling for it, and neither should you. So let's talk about it.
Yeah, you better. Yeah, you better.
Guys, before we get into today's video, please like and subscribe. Yes, let's talk about our little oppression cosplayers. Those people who are out there LARPing, being impoverished or oppressed. I feel like way back in the day, there used to be this pressure to pretend
Yeah, people just don't want to see a black woman succeed, Amala.
to be from an aristocratic family or pretend to know which fork or knife to use in a fine dining situation.
In the eyes of God, she belongs to Thomas Andrews.
It's all for me. Just start from the outside and work your way in.
And now people are pretending that they were born impoverished or from a third world country. And we're going to call out those pretenders right now, starting with one that I cannot run away from. This guy is on every single For You page. He's popping up in my algorithm. Everybody's talking about.
Yeah, he's being glazed harder than Pedro Pascal right now. Probably because he's a Muslim and he's a communist. And the left just really likes that. Well, the insane leftist freaks, I should say.
This possible next mayor of New York, Zohran Mamdani. Now, here's a little PR clip of him talking about his background in a recent interview.
So the third holy grail of taboos in American politics, you have socialism, you have Islam, and then you have Palestine. And you are really going for the trifecta. Let's go, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, you're really going for the trifecta. Like, it's all fake. Bro, you're just saying things.
So tell me, why is Palestine a part of your politics?
When you grow up as someone, especially in the third world, you have a very different understanding of the Palestinian struggle.
When you
That sounds like something an evil politician would say in a movie. It sounds like something that whenever he cut the camera off, he's like, did that sound good? Was that a good answer? You think that'll resonate with the masses?
grow up as someone, especially in the third world, Zohran says, as he eats his food with his fingers, which, hey, I'm not hating, I'm Nigerian, we do the same. But I have to look at that third world comment. Now, somebody else put out a tweet here. He says he grew up in the third world, but he was living in the United States, attending private school since he was 7 years old. That's not code switching, that's lying. He is a spoiled, privileged young man playing today's most popular parlor game, Look How Oppressed I Am. So I thought, I think I need to look into this. And what did we find out about Zohran Mamdani? Well, his mother is a multi-millionaire film director. His
Of fucking course. Every time. They're all fucking insane liars. And the further you get to the top, the more insane and the more lies there are.
father is a millionaire Columbia professor. He attended a $60K a year school where nearly all of his classmates were fellow children of millionaires. And
Yeah, it only makes sense. You know, he's friends with Hassan.
when he talks about growing up in the third world, he presumably is talking about being born in Uganda, where he was until he was 5. Then he moved over to Cape Town, South Africa, where he went to St. George's Grammar School, which is a private school. So he didn't even start private school at 7. He started it at 5. Now, his mother is such a large
So he was a part of the people who were oppressing the actual people who were oppressed. And then he was pretending that he was one of those people. Just like AOC pretending she's from the Bronx, but she was actually part of the people who were oppressing the people in the Bronx. The rich people that she claims are the problem. Eat the rich, am I right?
Filmmaker that it is alleged she's turned down an opportunity to direct a Harry Potter film because she wanted to focus on films of an ethnic variety. So I guess his mother was just waiting on that HBO reboot. And his father in 2008 was, quote, voted as the 9th top public intellectual in the world on a list of top 100 public intellectuals by Prospect Magazine and Foreign Policy. But yeah.
Yep, that sounds like a plant. When all the celebrity places are talking about you, putting you at number 1, you know? And they're putting you in these top 10 lists, top 10 sexiest man, top 10 coolest politicians. When they start putting you in those lists, you're a fucking plant. Get fucking real.
Yes, as someone who grew up especially in the third world. But let's watch a few more little clips of Zohran now that we know a little.
Top 10 most oppressed celebrities and politicians. Am I right? That's like the kind of shit that they fucking do.
A little bit more about his background.
Specifically growing up in South Africa post-apartheid, you know, it felt as if one of the most natural things to wear around my body was a keffiyeh. And so then to get here and see all of a sudden this topic was not only one that was discussed very differently, but was entirely taboo. It was a shock to my system. And for me, what made it central to my identity is that it is a glaring contradiction. We say we care about freedom and justice and self-determination, and yet for some reason we draw a line when it comes to Palestinians that accept.
Yeah, well, they're not Americans. Like, we're American. They're not Americans. It's kind of simple to wrap your head around. Like, we don't care about this faraway land that you're trying to tell us to care about. Because today, it's Palestine. Yesterday, it was Ukraine.
Accept them.
Growing up in post-apartheid South Africa, when he was there, as we mentioned before, from 5 to 7. Okay, or what about this next clip?
When you're a South Asian Muslim growing up in New York City, there aren't so many places where you can feel at home. And this is one of those avenues where, for me and for so many others, you can be yourself.
New York City, one of the most ethnically diverse areas in the United States as a whole, and as a...
Yeah, and as he's acting for the camera. Bro, these people are all fucking fake. And I can't believe so many people are just behind it. They fall for it.
South Asian, there aren't many places where you can feel at home. I don't know. Make it make sense. And you sure feel at home enough to make yourself mayor of New York City. So make it make sense. There are many ways to make it in American politics.
Yeah, I'm oppressed in New York City, guys. I was a South African Muslim kid. I was a Muslim in South Africa when I was a kid. So that makes me oppressed, the oppressed class. Never mind that I am a millionaire and running for mayor and probably gonna win, and I don't know, he might have already won. But he's so oppressed.
Politics, or to gain money, support, status, fame, but it seems like a new way that is opening up, and widely so, is to pretend to be othered, marginalized, oppressed, pretend to be from a place where you are not from, pretend that you are impoverished, pretend that you come from the humblest of humble backgrounds in order to, I guess, relate to the American public, because
apparently these people have never seen a movie before, like, 2005, because politicians in movies before, like, 2005 were all disgusting. They were all terrible people who were always doing stuff like this. They're like Homelander and the Boys. That's a newer character that's just like this, where in the public eye, they act like they're such a great person. Everybody deems them a hero. But behind the scenes, we all know who the fuck these people are. And they show themselves to the people who are actually paying attention.
Everyone feels othered and marginalized and oppressed. And how could one even deserve a position if they've not experienced being othered by the others, I guess? Now we're gonna move on to our girl, AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who is also in New York City. She recently was talking to Donald Trump online, as per usual, and she said this. Also, I'm a Bronx girl. You should know that we can eat Queens boys for breakfast, respectfully. Now,
yeah, we have determined that she is, in fact, not a Bronx girl. She is living in the rich white community right outside of the Bronx girl.
Guys, did you notice anything off about that tweet? Yes! Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is not from the Bronx. Now, many people decided to point this out, one of them being Michael Knowles, who tweeted out a map, which is actually extremely helpful. He said, the town in blue is the suburb that I grew up in. The town in red is the richer, wider suburb that AOC grew up in. The area in the black circle way down at the bottom is the Bronx. So it turns out AOC is not actually a Bronx girl that eats Queens boys for breakfast. So why would she lie about that? And I think somebody summed it up quite well in a tweet response that says, what you have to realize about the communist class in America is that they are all bored, privileged theater kids with nothing better to do than destroy Western civilization. None of them actually grew up hard knocks. Much like Zohran Mamdani, who moved out of Uganda when he was 5 years old, AOC was born in the Bronx and moved out when she was 5 years old. These are becoming, I don't know, what I like to call their narrative neighborhoods. People take this little kernel of truth from their past and then
And they all do the same thing. They all have similar stories. They all know what to say, what to do to get the people, stupid people on board. They don't really need us to be on board. They just need the stupid people, which is like fucking 75% of the country, and a lot of stupid people don't buy it, but they buy the other side's bullshit too. So it's like the same on both sides. All these fucking people, man. And honestly, they wouldn't be where they are if it wasn't for the stupid people who follow and believe what the government people say. Like, yes, queen, you go, girl. They don't want to see a woman succeed. All these boys, they're just mad because they're seeing a powerful woman take their spaces. It's fucking gross and fake. And we all know what's happening here. Has anybody watched the show Designated Survivor? They even got into their grips on that fucking show. Season 3 was absolute garbage. Season 2 was like kind of weird. I didn't understand why the Asian chick was like had such a big arc in it, and I didn't care about it. It just kind of turned into a federal agent show instead of a show about a guy being the president. But like even in that show, all these people were portrayed as like willing to do anything, say anything in order to stay in office, keep power, gain as much power as possible. And they were willing to kill millions in order to keep that power. And they do that. These people are doing this. Willing to start wars, willing to perpetuate wars forever in order to gain power and make more money for themselves.
Use it to build this whole sort of character arc around it, where she's a Bronx girl who at some point between the ages of 0 and 5 was eating Queens boys for lunch. Please be so fucking for real right now. In reality, as we can see evidenced in this picture, despite her Bronx girl's claims, AOC graduated from a suburban Yorktown high school in 2007 as Sandy Cortez. And AOC
Where does Sandy come from? Where does Alexandria come from? Like, which one's the real one? Which one's her real name? Is it Sandy or is it Alexandria? Like, what is this? Is Sandy her first name, Alexandria her middle name? What is this?
AOC has clearly shifted the way she talks about this geographical location of upbringing as she gets called out on it more. She said, quote, growing up between the Bronx and Yorktown deeply shaped my views of inequality, and it's a big reason I believe the things I do today. So did you grow up in the Bronx or did you grow up between the Bronx and Yorktown? I don't know. And the communist theater kid thing is really working for AOC. Do you guys remember when she went to the border and did that whole fake crying photo op with her?
Bro, yeah, I think I did a reaction to this. It was absolutely disgusting behavior. And they were all crying about the border. Funny how they're not doing that anymore, by the way. We've moved on to bigger and better things, more important things. Remember the whole Israel-Iran thing that everybody was talking about? Well, that's not what we're talking about anymore. Remember before that, people were lighting cars on fire? Well, nobody's talking about that no more. We've completely moved on. We forgot. We only do things whenever everybody's talking about it, whenever it's popular. You don't actually do things because you believe in it. You just do it because you know it'll get clicks. And you know it'll get votes. Like, get fucking real, man.
Her fingers like gripping like claws through the fence about all the poor immigrants who wanted to be in America. Or when she did the fake handcuff stunt where she pretended to be arrested.
Like, I can get looking out at a crowd of people that look helpless and you just, you know, you're like, man, this sucks. And your eyes get a little watery. But like, this whole thing she's doing right here, this is obviously fake, where she gets down and she's like, But it's so sad. Like, it's obviously an act. And anybody who falls for it, I guess, deserves what they get. They get what they vote for, you know? Fucking disgusting.
At this whole thing that was happening, or in 2021 when she tweeted out the photo of her grandmother's dilapidated home where she was living after it had been impacted by a hurricane that happened in 2017, and everybody was like, AOC, why aren't you helping your grandma? Our little rough and tumble Bronx girl is really committed to the bit. So it's lie, 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 half truth, am I relatable, please, 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 I'm impoverished, I'm poor, I'm oppressed, and
anything for clicks, anything for votes, believe me, please.
it even manifests physically for them. Some of these people are code switching when they're not code switching.
Yeah, fucking Kamala Harris likes to code switch. Hillary Clinton likes to code switch. She likes to change her accent, change the words she uses, changes how she speaks, and like her mannerisms, depending on who she's talking to and where they're at.
They're changing their accents to be more relatable to the crowd that they're speaking to. And AOC has been one to do this. Let's watch the clip.
There was times of economic opportunity.
Which used to work back before the internet was a thing and everything goes viral all the time.
Wages rose until the 1970s.
I'm proud to be a bartender. Ain't nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with working retail, folding clothes for other people to buy. There is nothing wrong with preparing the food that your neighbors will eat.
Okay, Martin Luther. Like, what are you talking about? We know she doesn't talk like that. We know she's never spoken like that. In her 5 years in the Bronx, I don't think she picked up any AAVE. So what is she doing? And she's not the only one to do this, okay? And it's all part of the oppression, cosplay, LARPing, whatever it is that they're doing. Kamala Harris was one to do this many times on the campaign trail. Let's watch it.
Yeah, don't forget Hillary Clinton. She also did it, in case she misses Hillary Clinton.
Her video, and this one's a compilation.
Hello to all my divine nine brothers and sisters, and my soror.
Oh, goodness.
Dude, that evil cackle, man. It's so bad. I remember, like, there were stories of people talking about, like, she has to stop doing this. It's hurting her chances of becoming president just from the evil cackle.
And to all my HBCU brothers and sisters.
Brothers and sisters!
You better thank a union member for sick leave. You better thank a union member for paid leave. You better thank a union member for vacation time.
Oh, man.
I guarantee you it was a, like, really ghetto black sounding lady telling her that she has to do this to appeal to black people. Also probably another fake person who does sound like that, but probably forces it on and like is actually an act that's been going on for so long that it's just there. A lot of people do this. A lot of people. Kevin Gates is a pretty good example of somebody who switches accents depending on who he's talking to, but for different reasons. Because he'll talk to his mom in like a normal voice, and then everybody else he's gonna talk in the ghetto voice.
Girl. Because what we know, let's just get through the next 64 days.
How about that?
And you all helped us win in 2020, and we're gonna do it again in 2024.
Dude, can we move on from this, please? I'm tired of listening to Kamala Harris. I thought we were done with this bitch.
Okay. Need I say more?
Thank you.
Need I say more? You know what? I'll throw one more in just to really drive it home for Kamala Harris. Remember when she said in college she was listening to Tupac Shakur, but it turns out Tupac Shakur's first album wasn't even out until 5 years after she graduated?
I didn't know about this. That's fucking hilarious. Get fucking owned.
College. This is what I'm talking about, y'all. And if it's not your politicians trying to tap into
Why pretend that you're black? I don't fucking get it, man. I mean, I do, but it's just fucking insane to me.
Ability core or poverty core, it's your celebrities. Let's look at Pedro Pascal. Here's Pedro talking about the protection of immigrants at Cannes.
I want people to be safe.
Look at him. He's so sensitive. He's so reserved.
and to be protected, and I want very much to live on the right side of history, and I'm an immigrant.
Well, I can tell you that you're not fucking doing that. You're gonna be known as a weirdo pedophile celebrity, or at least a pedophile sympathizer.
My parents are refugees from Chile. I myself was a refugee. We fled a dictatorship, and I was privileged enough to grow.
Oh, you fled dictatorship? I'm having a feeling that that's not what happened. I'm having a feeling that his parents were rich and they just came here because it was becoming a problem over there.
Grow up in the U.S. and after asylum in Denmark, and if it weren't for that, I don't know what would have happened to us. And so I stand by those protections.
We'll get to the anxiety I in a second. Yes, Pedro Pascal was a refugee, but it's interesting how he just throws that term out there without really clearing up the status or the...
Yeah, people hear refugee and they automatically imagine some starving child who's covered in dirt gripping the fence like AOC was. That's what they imagine when they hear refugee.
The background of his family in particular, considering, and let me read this, they were members of the Castilian Basque aristocracy in Chile. His mother was a child psychologist and his dad a fertility doctor, and they were well-known communists. And I guess their communist agenda actually flew in the face of Pinochet's, and that's why they had to leave Chile and go to Denmark, then to the United States. So I have a feeling if they were not granted access to the United States, Pedro Pascal and his family would have been just fine. So yeah, Pedro Pascal is a refugee and we can totally give him oppression points for that, but like aristocratic refugee much? And it's not just the whole refugee thing with Pedro Pascal.
Yeah, with them, all they got to do is sign a piece of paper and pay the money and they come right over. No problems, no questions asked. They don't have to worry about nothing. No, don't worry, guys. I'm one of you, one of the people that are just trying to live here, trying to make a living, who came over the border illegally, but like, you know, you're just trying to make a living like all the rest of us. I'm one of you. Fucking bullshit.
Pascal, he's spoken at length about being anxious and needing to hold somebody's hand or I guess rub his belly or something like that to alleviate his anxiety. And
bro, all these people keep blowing smoke up each other's asses and just like shoving their heads up people's asses. I gotta get all the farts before anybody else can. That's the only way to do it. I gotta shove my head right up your ass. And they're like, yes, put your head up my ass. I'm sorry, it's getting too far. Let's go.
We have this clip that's been circulating online for quite some time. It has 36 million views on X right now. And this is him doing, I guess, one of the measures that he takes to alleviate his anxiety whilst on stage. Oh yes, I must.
This looks like a fucking fetish. This looks creepy. This looks like some shit a fucking creepy weirdo would do. Well, this looks like some Cosby ass shit where you just start rubbing a woman. It's fucking weird.
Touch the arm of and hold the hand of this beautiful actress who's standing next to me in order to alleviate my anxiety.
It's not a vape. All right, it's an anxiety pin, and God, the amount of times that I've asked you to respect me and respect my anxiety pin is...
I respect this because this is exactly how social media people act. This is exactly how politicians act, but they don't do it as an act. They try and push it as if it's real. This guy, I'm pretty sure this is fake, and he's just playing it up and putting on a show.
Somebody get this guy an anxiety pen. Let's take a look at this video of Pedro Pascal or this Vanity Fair cover of Pedro Pascal. This
is some weirdo fucking celebrity gay shit. That's like not gay and trying to be like, no, straight men, they're not toxic masculinity. Get that shit out of here. See, I'm okay with other men touching me. I'm okay with pretending to lick this colorful stick like it's a penis. Get that shit out of here, man. So fucking weird.
Does this strike you as somebody who is socially anxious? I think not. But just like an autism diagnosis or a label of being neurodivergent, it's really in right now. And lastly, in our world of oppression make-believe, we have Whoopi Goldberg, who had this little spat recently on The View where she said being a black person is just as hard as being a person in Iran.
And it's slow.
But let's just remember, too, the Iranians literally throw gay people off of buildings. They don't adhere to basic human rights.
Listen, here's the thing. Let's not do that, let's not do that, because if we start with that, we have been known in this country to tie gay folks to the car.
And then they clap for it. All these people clap for it because they're fucking mush-brained. They got nothing going on between their ears, behind their eyes, except maybe some demon worship.
Regime is 2 days,
I'm sorry. They used to just keep hanging black people. So
it is not even the same. I couldn't step foot during this.
Wait. That's not what you mean to say. It is the same.
No, it's not. The year 2025 in the United States is nothing like if I step foot wearing this outfit into Toronto.
I'm sorry.
Listen, I can't have my hair showing. I can't wear a skirt. I can't have my arms out.
I'm telling you, as a...
I literally...
Here's a great example of this. You know, you can't even have your arms out. WWE did a show over in Saudi Arabia, which has a lot of similar laws as Iran. And as soon as a girl's wrist got shown, they had to cut the feed, cut straight to commercial. Didn't happen. Never saw her wrist. Nope. It was just, we went to commercial randomly. Like, this kind of shit happens in places that's not America. America is the most free place on earth, and we have to fight for it or we're gonna lose it. Because there's constantly people trying to take it away, like Whoopi Goldberg. I don't know what she's trying to accomplish here. I don't know what these people are trying to accomplish by saying that America fucking sucks. Because it doesn't.
said it was up to the Iranian people.
Yes,
it is up to them.
And that's why I am saying that it is the same.
So there you go. We have example after example after example of this happening, and I'm wondering, why is it happening? Of course, there's this overwhelming need to feel relatable to everyone at all times, and the way we do that now is through, I guess, trying to collect as many oppression points as possible. But I have to think that there's something more than that going on. And maybe it's what we believe people deserve in this day and age, that you cannot deserve status or fame or a political position without having gone through something that people deem to be oppressive. You have to sort of earn your stripes, earn your ability to be.
Yeah, I think this is true. And I think that regular people should be the ones who become the celebrities. And they think that too, and regular people are the ones who are actually oppressed. But they're not regular people. They are the oppressors, but they're trying to all the time pretend like, oh, I'm one of you guys. I'm oppressed just like all of you. Oh, there might be a world war. I hear there might be a world war. I have to build a $4 million bunker in Hawaii. I'm oppressed just like you people.
Be in a position that others are not in. And if you haven't lived an impoverished or oppressed lifestyle, people think you don't deserve the lifestyle that you currently have. Oppression has become a new form of currency, and these people's bills are counterfeit, I tell you.
I think it's the more and more people want to watch normal people, the more these celebrities are going to crash out because they're not normal people and they're desperately trying to cling on to money and power and fame. And they can see it crumbling away in front of them. They're losing the grip. And pretty soon they're going to be trying to take all that by force. Maybe not these people in particular because they're kind of old. Well, AOC and that communist dude aren't. But like Pedro Pascal and Whoopi Goldberg, they're pretty old. So I think their days are numbered. But I think they're going to start trying to keep their power, fame, and money by force pretty soon, because I don't see any other way this goes, because these people aren't going to give it up. They're not going to give up their money, power, and fame. No way. Why would they? They're going to do anything that they can to keep it. Anything. Anything.
Tell you that, but apparently you get to start ahead in today's world by starting behind. This is how you get the girl who grew up in the Bronx, or the guy who grew up in a third world country, or you better thank a union member for sick leave, because they have to make you feel as though they know your background, and if they don't, they have to make you feel as though they've had a worse upbringing than yours. The most extreme of those examples being Whoopi Goldberg pretending, or actually even convincing herself, that black people in America have it just as bad as those living in Iran.
How would she even know? How would she even know? Because she's rich as fuck. She doesn't hang out with regular black people. She probably doesn't even hang out with black people. Look at all the white women on this show. How many people behind the scenes are white? You know? Like, how often does she actually interact with real black people? She probably doesn't, because she probably sees regular poor people as criminals behind the scenes. That's really what she thinks. Then dirty, drug-addicted freaks. That's probably what she thinks. When she talks about black people being oppressed, she's talking about her friends. And she's just pretending. Pretending that all these things are happening to her friends and all the people that she doesn't actually know or care about.
Yeah, Whoopi Goldberg, with a $60 million net worth, is truly oppressed, and it's just as bad as those living in Iran. Now, interestingly enough, Whoopi Goldberg actually grew up in the projects here in the United States, so she has a humble beginning story to lean on, and it's still not enough. We must dig deeper. We must have something worse. We must have something more oppressive. And why? Oftentimes we find in digging into these people's backgrounds or their personalities or just like who they are as people, they lack narrative. And one thing that a theater kid needs is narrative, and they give themselves some pretty interesting ones, as we can see in this video. And
who knew, man? Actors are gonna act. Like, who knew? Who could have guessed that that was gonna be a thing that would be happening? That pretenders be pretending.
when you believe in something like critical race theory or critical feminist theory, you are taught that every single facet of what you experience in this world has to do with oppression, racism, misogyny, fat phobia, goes on and on and on. So if everything is about those things, your story must be about those things too. So we're going to really drive home the fact that we grew up in Uganda, or drive home the fact that we were born in the Bronx, even though we went to Yorktown and were called Sandy Cortez right after that. We're going to drive home how hard it is to be Black in America. We're going to really rev up that accent that we're not accustomed to. Because if life and experience and all of our human psyche is about oppression,
yeah, why would they stop, though, if people buy it? If people are buying it and they're just becoming more and more popular all the time, they get people glazing them more and more all the time, why would they stop? Why would they not get worse about it? You know? It fucking sucks. But that's the way it is.
And how much we've experienced, I better make sure I let people know that I've experienced it, even if I haven't. Now, I can go on and on about this, and we can find more examples, and we could try to find...
The sad thing is, a lot of times these people think it too. They actually believe their nonsense. And they're still lying. They just believe the lies. Because eventually you say the lie so many times that it becomes true in your mind. Your brain tricks you into thinking that the thing that you've been lying about this whole time is the truth.
Find more explanations as to why this is happening. But at the heart of this is probably the message that your ideas, so long as they are good ideas and helpful ideas, should be enough. That who you actually are, your true story, your true narrative is enough. You don't need the fakery, the fake accents, the fake background.
Yeah, I don't care who you are. I don't care where you come from, what your parents did. I give no shits. If you've got good ideas, that's all I care about. If you're gonna do actual good work, that's all I care about. Anything else, get that shit out of here. These people are just evil liars, and they got nothing else, so they have to make up all this bullshit. And then they get in, and everybody eats up all the bullshit, and then they destroy everything, blame it on everybody else, and get everybody else on board that, you know, believes in the bullshit, and get them riled up and angry and blaming everybody else too. And it's just a cycle of fires.
The fake oppression points in order to compete in the Olympics. In fact, there shouldn't even be an oppression Olympics. Everybody should just be who they actually are. And if you have ideas or talent that drives you forward or gets you a certain political position, then so be it. There shouldn't be this need to cushion who you actually are with fakeness in order to be relatable or to come off in a certain light. Yeah.
Well, they have to, though, because that's all they got. You know, and they really, really want that money, power, and fame. So they got to do whatever it takes, even if they destroy everything around them. Actually, that's the way they like it, because they know it works. They know that's how you get more power and more fame and more money. Because at the end of the day, they only want the power and the fame because more money. They want to be Jeff Bezos. That'd be the fucking dream, right? Amala Ekpunobi, down there in the description. Follow her because she's fucking awesome.